from, but from all these different cultures, and she stayed in so many different temples. In her professional life, she was a software developer, but she has given that up because she is fully passionate and dedicated to sharing bhakti with everyone. So she's now fully a resident at the Brooklyn Temple, and she's fully dedicated to the bhakti school and preaching bhakti to everyone. So let's please give her our attention in this class, and thank you for taking your time. Haribol.
Thank you so much. Okay. This doesn't move, does it?
You want to tighten it?
No, I want it to just lift a little bit higher. Oh, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be here. And disclaimer, this is my first Bhakti Night class. So I'm super nervous. The reason I wanted to speak about this topic, which is every day is a festival, because festival season is upon us now, right? There's a lot of upcoming festivities, and I wanted to just kind of discuss them, and we can speak. Oh, okay, this is getting louder. Can everyone hear?
Yeah.
Before I start, I want to know who's here for the first time. Wow. What's your name?
Joey.
Joey.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
John.
John.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Susanna.
Susanna. Okay, nice to meet you. So, I don't know if you're so familiar with like this tradition, but this is like a Hare Krishna temple. And the process we're following is Bhakti Yoga. And I'm speaking about festivals today because there's many upcoming festivities. And it's said by one of our great teachers that holy days like Ekadashi and Janmashtami are the mothers of devotion for devotees who properly respect them. That was said by our teacher, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And it said in the spiritual world, every word is a song, every step is a dance, and every day is a festival. So, what is the significance of devotional festivals? It says it's the mothers of devotion. So what is a mother? What does this mean, mothers of devotion? Anyone? Nourishing, yes. A mother gives birth, right? She brings forth life. So to be a mother of devotion means that these festivals are what brings forth devotion in our hearts. They give birth to devotion in our hearts. But does that mean that, we don't have devotion? We need to get devotion from some external source? Not really. We have this. We have a verse in one of our Vedic texts called the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which states, Nitya Sira Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunai Shravanadi Sudachita Karye Udai, which means that pure love for Krishna, which is bhakti, which is this process we're following, is eternally established in the hearts of the living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this love naturally awakens. So what this means is that bhakti is already in our hearts. We already have devotion in our hearts. But currently it's hidden, it's covered. It's covered by unwanted things. So our process is to remove the unwanted things, and then all we'll be left with is bhakti in our hearts. So this process, it says here that the heart is purified, as in all the unwanted things are removed by the process of hearing and chanting, which is what we just did, thanks to our beautiful Premamani, who sang such a lovely kirtan. She was chanting the holy names, and everyone was hearing and chanting along, and that already is purifying our heart. So devotional festivals are like a concentrated, saturated experience of this purification of the heart. because there's so much hearing and chanting going on and so much other activities happening in a festival that it actually awakens that pure love we have in our hearts. And like it said, it's a mother of devotion. So it's not giving birth, it's more like awakening what's already there. It's bringing it forth. So why have a festival, right? In this material world, we're always looking for happiness. We always want some kind of joy, right? We want enjoyment. We want to enjoy ourselves. Like everyone will ask, like, what did you do in the weekend? You know, we work during the week, and in the weekend we want to have fun. And in the material world, we try to go to clubs or parties or movies or, you know, going out with friends, just whatever. We're doing anything to have some fun, right? But we know that happiness we get from that is limited, and it's not lasting, and sometimes it doesn't even make us happy. One of our teachers says that when we try to enjoy ourselves materially through our material mind and senses, one of four things will happen. Either we try to enjoy ourselves and it doesn't actually make us happy. That's one thing that can happen. We think it's going to make us happy, but it doesn't make us happy, and then we get frustrated. 2, we try to enjoy ourselves, it makes us happy, but then it doesn't last, right? And then we're frustrated again because it didn't last. 3 is it makes us happy, but it's not as happy as we thought it would. It brings suffering with it, you know. So then then we're frustrated again, right? And 4 is it brings a bunch of it makes us happy, but it brings inconveniences that we didn't think of. So all these different things are happening when we try to enjoy materially. Now, so we think, okay, when we take up spiritual life, does that mean we can't have fun at all? We can't do anything that we used to do? You know, is our life boring? No, because we have devotional festivals. That's our fun, right? So it's our way of spiritualizing fun and wanting that enjoyment. But it's not just a way of, you know, having fun spiritually. Spiritual festivals actually have a higher purpose. They give us glimpses into the spiritual world, right? And it's not like, okay, at the festival you'll see there's great food, there's great music, there's dancing, there's a nice festive atmosphere and everyone feels nice. But there's a deep spiritual purpose behind everything that happens at the festival. So you may be coming, like, I don't know if some of you have come to the temple and experienced a festival or not, or maybe the first time, and you may be like, what's going on? You know, you'll see all this fun activities happening and you'll be like looking around like, what is happening? You know, it feels nice, it feels great, like it's exciting, it's enlivening, but I don't really know what's happening here. And that's also okay. That's also very beneficial, even if you have no idea what's going on at the festival. Just experiencing it, just attending it means that we're getting purified. Our hearts are getting purified. And it's an interesting one because it's purifying us through joy. Some people think that purification of the heart can only happen through suffering. You know, they think suffering is the way that we will be purified. There's no other way. Actually, suffering is one way that we get purified, and it's a very big way because we all suffer in some way in the material world. And when we suffer, it is purification, and we're meant to learn lessons and grow from it. There's also the possibility of purification through joy, which is so amazing in this material world, because who gets their heart purified eternally by having fun? You know, when we go to the club, when we go to some party, is there a chance of being purified? Probably not, right? Probably not. But at a spiritual festival, one of our devotional festivals, we automatically get purified. So that's the joy of it, that it elevates our consciousness and it leaves us with positive samskaras. So samskara is a Sanskrit word which means impression in the mind. So in the material world, we've been here, I don't know how long. How long do you guys think we've been in the material world?
Long time.
Any idea? No?
Multiple lives.
A few lives?
Yeah.
It says, we have no idea, but it said that we've been in the material world from time immemorial. We can't understand how long we've been here. And therefore, we've been traversing through life after life, going through the process of birth, old age, disease, death, over and over again. And in those births and deaths, we absorb a lot of impressions. And most of them are pretty negative, right? So that fills our consciousness up. And we also absorb some positive impressions, but they're material impressions. In a spiritual festival, we're absorbing transcendental impressions that can wipe away the negativity in our mind and anything material, all these different impressions we have. Our mind can become purified, our heart can become purified and clear. It's elevating our consciousness. So it has very deep significance to attend, just attending, leave participating, but just attending, watching it, then participating, then contributing to it, doing something for it. All of this adds up and it leaves positive samskaras. So festivals have different purposes behind it, at least two, right? We say in our path of bhakti, there's two, parts to it. There's the internal absorption in my own spiritual life, and then the act of sharing it with others. Now, in a festival, I'm sure there's many purposes, but the two that I highlight as the most important is that there's the external purpose of really trying to bring more people to experience it, right? To share that love, share that joy. And festivals are very good in attracting many people to participate, because maybe on a normal day, maybe not so many people would visit, but a festival, it's a big event, everyone's going to hear about it. Somehow it attracts people, and then you get more and more enthusiasm coming. So that's the first thing, to attract. But then the internal purpose is that it's allowing us to offer our love and devotion to Krishna, God, in a very personal way. That's what the festivals are actually doing. Behind all the grandeur and all the things we see, what's really happening is that there's very personal offering of love and devotion and service happening. And we are allowed to do it. So it says in the spiritual world, every day is a festival. All these activities are going on in the spiritual world currently with the eternal devotees of Krishna, the eternal residents there. And their permanent position is just to offer and be, express their love and devotion and affection to Krishna. So here we are doing other activities. But for some time, we get the opportunity to join in and be part of that ourselves. And that's what makes it so special, that we're just conditioned souls, we're normal, but we get to access this very high level of love. And generally at a festival, we notice that most of the activities revolve around the deity of Krishna, which is a form. It's a form of Krishna. It's not sentimental. It's not just any form. I'm just taking a random form and I'm worshipping that as God. And it's described, it's actually compared to a post box, right? So you know how there's a post box on the street and you put your mail in, and it's connected to the postal service that runs throughout the country. So when you put your mail in, it actually goes to where it's meant to go. But if you take any random box and you put it on the street and you put your mail in, it's not going to go because it's not connected to the postal service, right? So the deity in that comparison, it's not just any form that you can say, I'm going to worship this and it's going to make a difference. The deity is actually carved according to the descriptions that are written in our Vedic texts. about what Krishna looks like, his form, his limbs, his eyes, his smile. And then once the form has been created, then there is a ceremony that actually invites the Lord to reside within the deity. And once that happens, then we can say, okay, this deity is installed. That means the Lord is here, present before us, ready to accept our offering of love and reciprocating with us in that way, which is very merciful of God to do that. Because right now, with our present eyes, we cannot see God. We cannot see him as he is. We can see his hand in many things. We can see his energy around us, but we can't see him face to face. But he's allowing us to exchange with him. He's allowing us to see him by personally coming in a form and reciprocating with us in love, allowing us to offer our love and receiving that love. So it's very personal experience that we have at the festivals, where all this worship is surrounding Krishna, the form of Krishna. There's a verse in Bhagavad Gita which says that Krishna is saying, if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. So every day, actually, Krishna is being offered all these things in great opulence. But on a festival day, it's like even more elaborate, even more opulent, even more ecstatic. So the main thing Krishna wants is actually our devotion. In the verse he says, with devotion. So without devotion, it's like, okay. But with devotion, that's the real offering that he wants. And at the festival, everyone is getting the opportunity to express their great devotion with their offerings of love in these ways. So I wanted to speak about so many upcoming festivals are happening soon. Like there's a festival on Thursday beginning called Julan Yatra. So I'm going to speak about that. But first I wanted to speak about some other festivals that happened before in India. So Vrindavan is the land of Krishna. And that's where Krishna appeared in this world. And there's many festivals that happen according to the seasons that exist in Vrindavan. And all festivals are meant to bring happiness to Krishna. That's the point. It's to give pleasure to Krishna, and then in doing so, we feel very happy. We end up getting a lot of happiness from that. So one such festival is called Vasant Panchami, which means the spring festival. It's celebrated as the first day of spring in India. And what we find is that all the forms of Krishna, this is one such form of Krishna that I was describing. The forms of Krishna and all the temples will be dressed in yellow. And they'll be decorated with leaves and flowers and fruits and anything signifying abundance and growth and new life. Because spring is that time of the year where there's rejuvenation. So that's what Vasant Panchami is meant to do. And then it's like, in India, it's like any excuse for a festival. Like there's so many festivals. They may not be necessarily widely celebrated in the West yet, but in India, it's like really any excuse, because the culture of devotion is so natural that everyone knows Krishna, everyone loves Krishna, and everyone is always thinking of how to do something to please Krishna. And then there's another festival called Holi, right? Has anyone heard of Holi before? Holi, it's like color, right? Throwing colors. So actually all of these originate in the pastimes of Krishna, in his stories, in his activities. He also played with his friends and they were throwing colors on each other and squirting water on each other. Why? Because it's fun and it brings happiness to Krishna. So whatever we do here, it's like we're getting it from Krishna. We're not even original right now. So another festival is Holi, and that happens a little after a time period after Vasant Panchami. And then there's a wonderful festival called Chandan Yatra, which is a sandalwood festival. And this happens in the peak of summer in India. It's really, really hot. And in order to cool down Krishna's body, they apply sandalwood mixed with water or rose water or some nice scented thing, because sandalwood is a very cooling element. So we can see here that Krishna's entire body has been covered with sandalwood. And sometimes they mix like blue powder in so that Krishna's form becomes blue, like the descriptions in the scripture. So all of this, and you can see all of these festivals take a lot of energy, right? It's everyone comes together, more and more people come together to use their energy to serve Krishna in greater and greater ways. And after Chandan Yatra, generally they have a boat festival. This is what I showed here in this picture. This is a boat festival. This is from Mayapur Dham, which is another part of India. Very sacred lands, actually my favorite place in the whole world. So the boat festival is another pastime of Krishna. It's another activity that Krishna did where he's on the boat and he is enjoying the experience, right? Because we all know everyone likes a boat ride. So Krishna has a transcendental boat, right? He has a special boat made out of a swan boat. And they make beautiful arrangements with flowers and all kinds of items to make it really beautiful and attractive and comfortable for Krishna. And then they take him around the lake in the boat festival. And it's also summer, so it's really pleasing to be in the water. And let me just go further. And then there's also a festival called Snan Yatra, which is bathing of Krishna, you know. And actually, we had that recently here at this temple for Lord Jagannath. I don't know how many of you attended or heard about it or didn't, but that was also a nice festival where the Lord is bathed. He's water and honey and yogurt and all kinds of really wonderful items are poured on the Lord, and that's meant to please them. And it's an offering of love. And also cool them down in the summer. And then comes Rath Yatra, the festival of chariots. So this, please raise your hand if you've heard of Rath Yatra. Okay, great. Nice. Yeah, we had our Rath Yatra festival here just like a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months now. And absolutely amazing festival of devotion. So many thousands of people get attracted to this festival, and so many are actually beginning their devotional life through this festival. So the story behind it is that Krishna lives in Vrindavan, and he had to leave Vrindavan at a certain point. And all his favorite people are in Vrindavan. His best friends and everybody he loves is in Vrindavan. So they were missing him very greatly, and he was missing them very greatly. So at one point, the separation, that intense separation got so, it got too much, and his form actually changed. He became like his limbs withdrew in. His eyes were really big and happy, and he has a huge smile because he's just thinking of his friends in Vrindavan. And then they put him on a chariot and just pulled him all the way back to Vrindavan. So that's what this festival is doing. Here we have, and so this form that he takes is Lord Jagannath's form, the really ecstatic form with big eyes, big smile, withdrawn limbs, because he's just like captured by that experience of separation from his most beloved devotees. So put him on a chariot and then pull him all the way back to Vrindavan. And that's what this Rath Yatra festival is really doing internally. For us, it's really exciting. It's like a festival, there's a chariot, there's beauty, there's decorations, there's lots and lots of music and dancing, right? Lots of kirtan, lots of dancing, lots of amazing food. There's a lot of festivity. But the internal thing that's happening is this whole story of Krishna is being enacted. And for us also, it's like we get to participate in this. We get to pull Krishna into our hearts. So that's our meditation during the Rath Yatra, the festival of chariots, that we're taking Krishna and we're just pulling him all the way into our hearts to have closer love and personal exchanges with him. And then now comes Julan Yatra, which is the swing festival that's happening very soon. It's starting on Thursday and it will run all the way up until Monday. So this festival, there's an interesting story behind it. Because it's so hot, at this point in India, it actually becomes really humid. It's like really intense. So pouring water on the Lord is not going to work because it will feel sticky. So what the Lord needs at this point is a gentle breeze, like wind. So his devotees will put him on a swing and then swing him so that breeze happens. And then he's with Srimati Radharani and they're both being swung. And then so this festival we enact it by having our forms of Radha and Krishna, putting them on a swing, and then we all get to swing them. So we all get to participate in this loving exchange that his devotees in Vrindavan get to experience. We get to experience that by just anybody can come. Absolutely anyone can come. There's no qualification. You just show up and you get to swing the Lord and you get to be part of that experience. So that's a nice, it's a nice meditation. So this is the swing festival that happened in Mayapur, and it's, similar to greater and lesser elaborateness in different places. But in Mayapur, they have a whole procession where they take the deities off the altar, put them on this structure, and have bulls pulling this cart with all the devotees chanting and having wonderful kirtan and dancing and beautiful arrangements. And then eventually they get placed onto that swing, and then that swing also, as you can see, is very decorated. And then the people, anybody can just come and swing the Lord and be part of that. And then that leads us up to Monday, which is Balaram Purnima, which is the birthday of Krishna's older brother. So again, any excuse for a party, right? Especially for God's birthday, and his brother's birthday. So everything gets expanded during a festival. There's more kirtan, more amazing prasadam, more enlivenment, more opulent decorations, because it's giving everybody an opportunity to participate in it. And then Balaram Purnima is just the beginning, really, because it's like the prequel to the main event, which is the birthday of Lord Krishna, Janmashtami, which will happen on 26th August this year. So that's in 2 weeks' time. So Lord Balaram is born a week before Lord Krishna. So this is like God's birthday, big party. It's like all day, all the way up to midnight, sometimes many days in many places. And I want to just read a small excerpt from Krishna book about the description of when Krishna appeared in this world. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to choose certain excerpts. But it said that when Krishna appeared, the astrological constellation became very auspicious. And the planetary systems all just automatically adjusted to invite auspiciousness. All the directions, east, west, south, north, everywhere, there was an atmosphere of peace and prosperity. There were auspicious stars visible in the sky. And on the surface, in all towns and villages and pasturing grounds, and within the minds of everyone, there were signs of good fortune. The rivers were flowing full of water. The lakes were beautifully decorated with lotus flowers. The forests were full with beautiful birds and peacocks. All the birds within the forest began to sing with sweet voices, and the peacocks began to dance along with their consorts. The wind blew very pleasantly, carrying the aroma of different flowers. At home, the brahmanas who had been stopped from performing their sacrifices, they found it very easy and pleasing to do their sacrifices. And everyone became really joyful and peaceful in the heart. The sky became full of the transcendental vibrations of the Lord. It said also that there were great sages and demigods who were showering flower petals when the Lord appeared. And there's the denizens of other planets who are expert in singing and dancing. They were just joyfully playing all their musical instruments and singing and dancing. So it's such a festival when the Lord appeared. And therefore, when we, at all the temples around the world, when we celebrate Lord Krishna's birthday, we try to create that same, a similar kind of festive mood. So you'll see the deities that we have here, Radha Govinda, dressed very opulently, sometimes in a dress made of flowers. Sometimes that happens. I think we're having a flower outfit one of the days this week, so that's going to be fun. You can see there's devotees making the flower dress there, all coming together and constructing the flower outfit. Then there'll be an abhishek, which is a bathing ceremony where the forms of the Lord are placed on a throne, and it's decorated, and they're bathed in all kinds of wonderful items like milk, yogurt, honey, different juices, and different scents. They're bathed with oil, flowers are showered on them, coconut water even, as you can see. So all of this is to expand that loving potency, to draw out more and more love from us. And then also it's said that when Krishna was born, his father gave cows in charity. He couldn't physically do it, but he did it mentally, because they should always be offering. Whenever something joyous happens, there'd always be an offering, and it's a very jubilant festival. And just to clarify, Krishna does not appear the way we appear in this world, the way we take birth from the womb of someone. It's said that because Krishna is transcendental, he appears and disappears like the sun. The sun is never dead. The sun doesn't actually disappear. There's times when we can see the sun and times when we can't. Like the sun rises and the sun sets. So it's the same with Krishna. He's always there. But there's times when he appears physically for us to see him, and then times when he disappears. But he's not born and he doesn't die. And then there's another festival called Radha Astami, which is the birthday of Srimati Radharani. Very similar kind of joyful, opulent celebrations are carried out for her. And then later in the year, there's a whole month called Kartik. Has anyone heard of Kartik before? No? So Kartik is a special month of the year where it's said that whatever devotional practice we do gets multiplied. The effect of it gets multiplied by 1,000, right? So, and I've personally experienced and seen many experience that when they take some kind of sacrifice or some kind of decision to do something more in the month of Kartik, their spiritual life just becomes like 100 times easier, and they just shoot up in what they're able to do for Krishna, like for the rest of their lives. It's usually in Kartik where something amazing happens, some kind of magic that really makes you feel like, wow, I've really committed, or I've really done something. It's not like you have it in Kartik and then you kind of like slump and go back, you just continue. Kartik gives you that energy to just continue with your spiritual practice, whatever decision you take. So, and Kartik is a special month because it said that so many amazing pastimes of Krishna happened in that month. And it's celebrated by offering of a lamb. Simply one thing we can do every day in Kartik is just offer a lamb to Krishna. Turn it around in circles. And just that is already so purifying. And one such festival, this Kartik is now full of festivals. And one such festival is Govardhan Puja, which is like a food mountain festival. We had a celebration of that last year. I don't know how many attended, but we had like a special Bhakti school Govardhan Puja thing here, but then also a big one in the temple. And basically, this festival is signifying a pastime where Krishna had asked his father to basically have like offer all these different preparations, all this food to Govardhan Hill, which is a sacred hill in India, in Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, everything is a personality. Everything is alive. It's not that the hill is just a hill. The hill is a person, right? Everything in the spiritual world is conscious. That's the first thing. That's like mind-boggling. So Krishna asked his father to offer all these preparations to Govardhan, the hill. And then there was instead of offering it to the demigod Lord Indra. And then Indra got offended by that. Like, why are you not offering it to me? So, and actually a demigod is not on the same level as Krishna. They're powerful, but not supreme. So Indra got offended, and it's a whole long story. But basically, he just cast down a whole bunch of rain and thunder to Vrindavan because he was so offended. And then Krishna just picked up this hill and protected everyone from the rain and thunder for 7 days straight. It was just like torrents of rain. We have like one, like a drop of rain, and we like, I want to be inside, right? But they had torrents of rain, and somehow there was a hill, and Krishna expanded the hill such that everyone could fit under this hill. For 7 days, he just carried the hill on his left pinky finger, also showing his great strength and his great potency, because anyone can claim to be God, but can they hold up a whole hill on their pinky finger of the left hand? No. That's the test to know who's God, right? So he did that, and then he protected all the residents of Vrindavan. And it's a very special pastime because it said that all the residents got to experience Krishna's love at the same time. Generally, there were different people experiencing it at different times. Like in the morning, his parents would see him and they would exchange love with him, serve him. Then he'd go out to the fields and play with his friends. And in that time, his parents weren't with him. It would just be his friends. Then in the evening, he'd hang out with the gopis, his girlfriends. And then his friends wouldn't see them, So it's like everyone had to share Krishna's time. And everybody wants to always be with Krishna because he brings so much joy to everybody. So during this pastime, because everyone was together under the hill, they all got to exchange love with him simultaneously. And that's why it's such a special time and such a special festival. So like this, now we have tons and tons of festivals in the year. In the process of bhakti, every day is a festival. But literally, like, even especially in New York, we can't say that every single day is a festival, because just having the Harinam go out every single day and chanting on the streets of New York for 6 hours, that is already a festival. Festival of the holy name. Every single day it feels like a festival because of that. So, and the truth is that the beginning and end of all festivals is the chanting of the holy names. That's the crux. That's what brings it all together. That's what brings the joy to everything. And then all of this is also going on internally. All of these pastimes being enacted and being meditated upon. So festivals are a nice opportunity to read about these different stories of Krishna and to meditate and to have it at the back of our mind, at least, that this is what's actually happening. Despite being kind of maybe distracted by all the like excitement that we see, talking to our friends and all of that, but this is what's happening this is the crux of it, the different stories. And I'll end with a quote from Narad Muni, who is a great devotee of Krishna. And he was speaking to Bhakti Devi herself. So the personality of bhakti, devotion, devotional service, that's a personality too. So Narad Muni says in the Bhagavad Mahatmya, "O beautiful faced lady, there is no age equal to Kali. In this age, I will personally preach your glories in each and every home and establish you within the hearts of each and every individual. Hear my vow, giving priority to devotional festivals over all other forms of religiosity. If I do not spread you everywhere on earth, then I shall no longer be known as a servant of Hari. The living entities that shall be born in this age of Kali will be devotees who attain the abode of Lord Hari without hindrances, even if they are sinners. So basically what this verse is saying, this is a mouthful, but the age that we're currently in is called Kali, and it's kind of characterized by quarrel and hypocrisy. Basically, it's a difficult age. It's an age where it's very difficult to take up any kind of spiritual practice. So, in previous ages, it was much simpler. It was much simpler to do much more difficult spiritual practices. But here, even a simple spiritual practice is difficult. So that's why the prescribed method for this age that we're in is chanting the holy names, because that's easy. Anybody can do it. So here, Narad Muni, who's a pure devotee, is saying to Bhakti, the personality of Bhakti, that I will make sure that everybody has Bhakti within their heart. I will give you to everyone in this age. That means no matter how bad this age gets and how degraded the people may become due to the influence of quarrel and hypocrisy, Narad Muni is saying that he will prioritize to do this through devotional festivals. So that means in these festivals is where he is going to personally give out this mercy. And now we have Narad Muni Das, who just appeared as we're quoting Narad Muni. So, and he's saying that no matter what, even if the people of this age are born and they're doing awful things, it doesn't matter. They will become devotees through devotional festivals, and they will become attracted to the Lord through this practice of being part of the festivals. So that's why it's really important. It's really important to observe, be part of, and take advantage of the opportunity to experience it. Everybody should experience a devotional festival at least once in their life. So I'll stop there and ask if there's any questions, because I know that there's also some new people, and I may have kind of said a bunch of things that were maybe confusing. Are there any questions or comments, or anyone want to share some experience they had at a festival, that changed them? Yeah.
I had a supernatural experience last year about the yatra.
Yeah.
I would say that's what did it for me.
What about Rath Yatra did it?
It was at the temple, and it was just amazing. It was so ecstatic, and I was singing, and it was the most beautiful transcendental music I've ever heard in my life. The vibration was just amazing. Mm-hmm. And I was here till 2:00 in the morning. And what was supernatural was that, I walked in really ecstatic and happy, but I had a moment while I was, jumping up and down. I was in pure bliss. All of a sudden, I was crying. My heart broke, and it's just shot up, and it came out of my mouth, and there was tears came down my eyes, and I was like, whoa, what just happened? And what you mentioned about how those moments of where it can really clear your karma, I felt like that's what happened. Mm-hmm. It was healing. It was whatever actually had to come out. Literally whatever was contained in my heart, whatever grief that was in my heart came out. And I wasn't ready for that because I'm a little vain and I was just crying. And, but it was a cry of it was just a grief that was let out, but I was happy and I couldn't contain it. And I would say I've been a devotee since.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that story. It actually, I can relate. I feel sometimes we have so many burdens in our heart, and it's just whatever we try to do, it's just impossible. We cannot get rid of it. It's it's weighing us down. And I've experienced this myself. And then it's literally nothing else. But when you get absorbed in Krishna consciousness, some festival happens, some really saturated, powerful spiritual energy can just wipe it away, can just remove it very easily. But yet whatever we try to do on our own for so long, it's very difficult to get rid of. And I know my spiritual teacher relied on that a lot. He'd often say, like, so many times someone would go to him with a problem that seemed insurmountable. He'd just say, "Come, we're going to this festival," and then go. But in the process of going and just being part of it and being enlivened and just having that saturated time period of having his pure association, his just being in the presence of someone who's so spiritually saturated, and then being in the festival, it's like the mountains of karma are just destroyed, and mountains of grief, mountains of anarthas. So many things can leave our heart and then make our bhakti, the natural devotion, shine through and come and bring it forth better. So thank you for sharing that. It really reminded me of that point. Any other? Yes?
Just a question. When Krishna had to leave Vrindavana, is it at the time that he went to Mathura? Okay.
Yeah. It said that Krishna doesn't really leave Vrindavan. His heart and mind is always in Vrindavan. And the residents of Vrindavan don't actually leave him. They're always meditating, they're always thinking of him anyway. But it was this pastime that, was enacted to sort of draw out more love from them also. It's a very deep pastime. Yes?
So there's a month where the benefits are like tenfold?
Yeah.
Is that?
It's called Kartik, and it begins on around about 18th October this year till 18th November. I just need to get the dates right. It's either 17th, 18th, but it's like middle of October to middle of November this year. So the Vaishnav calendar follows the lunar cycle. So it's different every year. It could be like October, like beginning of October to end of October. It could be like beginning of November to end. It's like around that time period, but the date will be different every year. So this year it's at middle of October to middle of November, and that's an opportunity. They call it a great sale of devotion. It's like, when everything's on sale, everything's cheap, right? Something that's $100 could just be $5 tomorrow. So they say that this is a bhakti sale, because whatever little effort you put in has the result of doing a lot, So it's a great opportunity to get involved in something. Just take up some kind of extra practice. Sometimes people decide, I want to give up something. I want to do a sacrifice, Give up something that maybe we're addicted to, like our phones or something, like digital detox for a month, right? Or like give up social media or something. Sometimes that's one way. But another way is to actually take on another spiritual practice, like maybe chant more. If you have a practice where you're chanting a certain number of rounds, you can increase it, or make a habit of like, I'm going to read every single day. I'm going to read a book, whatever it is. And that can help, because both of them do help. Like when you minimize your distractions, that helps to focus more on spiritual activity. But taking on another spiritual activity has like more benefit, because just minimizing your distractions is not inherently spiritual on its own. You could give up your phone but then get absorbed in TV, but if you decide like, I want to do more of something, I want to read, or maybe visit the temple, do a service, do something, whatever, it's a really special opportunity. Yes.
I had a question. Your first slide, you mentioned Ekadashi, and you didn't elaborate on when it is and what's the significance.
Yes. So Ekadashi, also a very nice holy day, auspicious day. It happens every 2 weeks actually. So there's another one, I think, in Thursday or Friday? Thursday. Thursday. There's some confusion about which day it is, because in different parts of the world, it's the lunar calendar is like slightly different. So it's on Thursday, and then it's every 2 weeks. So on Ekadashi, what we do is we refrain from having grains, and that gives us the opportunity to focus our energy more on spiritual activity. Because sometimes, when we're eating a lot, it's like you get burdened. Your body gets like lazy in a way. So Ekadashi is a way to like, it's like a cleanse in one sense, like a spiritual cleanse, where we focus less of our energy on digesting and more on digesting the scripture and like, being absorbed in spiritual activities. So that's also, yeah, it's a mother of devotion. It brings forth devotion.
But why is it connected to a new moon day? Why?
It's not a new moon day. It's actually It's Ekadashi. So it's on the 11th day of the cycle.
But I was wondering what the significance is.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how it is. I don't actually know the significance of it, you know?
So on new moon, right, what happens is that the moon pulls water.
I'm sorry?
Moon, if you have seen like any water body, right, the moon will pull water, like that's why the waves are very high.
Mhm.
Okay.
So what happens is that when we eat grain, the grain will retain water. So on new moon, if there's more water in the body, there will be more upheaval. So that's why it's said that we should not eat grain, especially on the new moon. So you can do like Ekadashi on any day, but it's specifically on the new moon.
That
Interesting.
makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
So the tides go up on new moon day. That's what it is. The ocean tides.
No, I'm just saying like the
No,
water.
but that's true. Is that true? The ocean tides
yeah.
go up on new moon.
Yeah, the water,
I see.
the moon will has like it pulls water.
Thank you.
Krishna, you had something to say.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like, the whole aspect of festivals really resonates with me because like the whole idea of like, when you're at a festival, you're in a group with an association of like-minded people, and it makes me think about like, at least me personally, I can't do this myself. It's spiritual life is really austere and difficult when you do it by yourself, but when you acclimate yourself in an environment where everybody is in a meditative mood and then suddenly in an ecstatic mood, and it's like, oh, we're in this location and everybody's doing this thing together in love and devotion and service, and you just look around and you see multiple people going through so many emotions, you just like a spark lights up in you. And that's my experience, at least in festivals. And festivals in that way definitely empower me to further myself in spiritual life, because before I would say like alone, it's like there's not as much motivation. So I definitely relate 100%.
Definitely.
I had a comment about pulling Lord Jagannath back to Vrindavan. As a dancer, when you were describing all his wide eyes, his big smile, and then the limbs, because what happens when you become stunned, you're like, oh! So the limbs contract, they become like this. And so when I think about it like that, it brings it more, makes it feel more real why he became like this, where his form looks like small arms. It's very, very sweet, because you can experience it yourself and you become stunned and you're just like, wow, or you become really heartfelt and you're like,
Yeah, that's a nice. I never thought of it like that, like physically, you know, when we become stunned, and it's so true that festivals do empower us. Like I experienced what you were saying, Krishna. I definitely experienced that that feeling like I can't do this alone. You know, it's a way to bring everybody together, because that's what the Lord wants. He wants us to all be together, happy, serving Him, joyful, and when we give Him joy, then He gives us joy. Really, we become joyful, and that's what we're meant to be doing. We're meant to be sharing the joy of spiritual life with everybody we meet. So please come to all the festivals that are gonna happen. All the festivals, and every day is a festival also, so come every day. And I think there's nothing else. We can progress to the next kirtan. Oh, Nick, our MC is here.
Haribo. Let's give a round of applause.